Governments around the world have utilized the advent of the internet and technology to make significant difference in terms of achieving the objectives of improved service delivery for citizens in what is termed e-governance. Nigeria has also over the years employed e-governance in evaluating government performance through improving transparency, providing information speedily to all citizens, and discouraging corruption. We will be assessing e-governance status in Nigeria and its contribution to economic growth. Our guest, like I said at the beginning of the program, is Malcom Oseahon, who is e-government project planning and development expert. It's a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm actually thinking of where to start this conversation, but
okay.
We can start by maybe you telling us the benefits of e-governance in Nigeria and what can it do to promote economic development?
Okay, well, thank you for the opportunity to exchange. This is a great platform to share this. Well, e-government is an enabler. It's using ICT as an enabler to improve government service delivery. So anchoring on accountability and transparency for government service. E-government, for me, is the key to economic growth. Economic growth is, how do we say, maybe an increase in economic goods and services. And these goods and services, what are we? We're looking at labor force, we're looking at, technology, you're looking at human capital. All of this is tied to e-government. And once you have e-government, you have seamless interactions between government to government, seamless interactions between government to citizen, seamless interactions between government to business, and even government to employee. So basically, seamless interactions the way, and then you've created a platform for citizens to be involved in the process of government, in the decision making of government. So those are the benefits.
Okay, now that we've established a correlation between e-governance and economic growth,
yes.
How would you rate Nigeria's e-governance activities so far? And what direction do you see the current administration going?
A great question. As to the direction that the current administration is going, I would say excellent. Looking at the 8-point agenda by the president, you could see that, food security, ending poverty, there's already a goal, a vision. And with that 8-point agenda, ICT as an enabler, e-government itself is actually the key to make this possible. Now, if I were to rate e-governance, e-government in general in Nigeria, I don't know on what scale to rate it, but I would say yes, there are improvements, but these improvements are in isolations. They are not yet the whole sole goal of e-government or e-governance is integration, where you go to a hospital, you don't have to with one social security number or so, you don't have to repeat the same details. You go to the airport, you go to your road safety, for example, your license and all of these things, and then you can easily be tracked and managed. So to rate it, to scale it, in terms of integration, I would say it's not doing so well. But in terms of isolation, yes, there are progress made. But with the direction that the government is taking, I know that there's progress. Progress is sure for this country.
Okay, how has this transformed the way citizens communicate with governments and government-to-government agencies, and how does it promote service delivery?
So for government to government, when a government institution is open to sharing information, access to information, interoperable with each other, then it's easy for you to communicate to the citizen. Listen. E-government in general is citizen-centric. A country that is citizen-centric, who builds the solution around the citizen, is willing to grow. And so with e-government, in government to citizen, you've given citizens access to government processes. You've thought about your citizens. All your solutions will be built on your citizens. You leveraging on ICT. For example, we build a system, looking at the space of poverty alleviation, one of the agendas of the 8-point agenda of the president, which I think is excellent. You would have a system right now, for example, that will aid in disbursement or distribution of maybe, let's say, of palliatives, monetary palliative or non-monetary palliatives. A dashboard, I'm talking of a dashboard, a system that the president can sit from the federal and see distribution in as far as Zamfara, Talata Mafarawa, as far as Gombe, as far as Benue, as far as, any state, from federal to state to local government. Such systems will build the trust of citizens again. Now, the idea of the G2G was the government to government. Now, because, poverty is multidimensional and there are already agencies or NDAs that are answering, meeting the mandate of these things. You have to be able to speak with each other to be sure that you're not stepping on, for seamless interaction, that you're not stepping on any other person's mandate, rather providing a platform for everybody to communicate. And then government to business, government cannot sustainably lift, what are we looking at? 133 million, 63% of Nigerian people are multidimensionally poor currently. Government cannot do it alone. You need the help of development partners and all of these guys. So you have to have a platform that speaks to everybody, that everybody can ride on, and then the citizens, what we call the citizen view, can see the progression. Government disbursed, for example, government budgeted 100 billion on social thing, or maybe, in the social protections types. So we have social insurance, social assistance, and labor market, and all the transformative tools that are designed to address poverty, social economic vulnerability, or threats to sustainable development. All of these things that exist currently, which are beautifully designed, you put them on the platform, you put them on the system, and everyone can see 100 billion, budgeted for this, when it goes to this, how it goes to this.
That's just by the click of the button on your phone.
Just by the
be
click.
able to access all these things.
Fantastic.
And then how does it promote transparency and accountability in government operations?
Okay, so for transparency, now you have, everybody can see what you're doing. What I'm saying is this: if you're in the office, for example, and you're supposed to work on a certain document, and that document comes to your table, and now instead of delaying that file, from the system, it showed that it came to Gershon's table. Now this system is this work is on Gershon's table. It's on green, and now according to the timer, Gershon is supposed to work on that in 5 minutes, and then in 5 minutes, a red light starts to beep. Let's say he's in the procurement department, for example, or something, and he has some software that he's working with. The people that have applied for jobs would see where the problem is. The director is superior will see where the problem is, that, it's on Gershon's table, and it was at the time that Gershon was working. That's one form of transparency. In terms of accountability, like the system that I spoke of, the president sits and says, great example. The president shared rice in December for lawmakers and everyone to get down to the local government level. Now, what I'm saying is this: the president sits down, he can see the 774 local government, 36 states and capital, and he has already structured his disbursement. So from the president, federal, to the state governments, which they have access to they have access to their own state and local government, then down to the local government official or whoever representative that is there, and then they can see the access to only local government distribution. So the president can see that, in a structure, I gave 100 bags to this state.
Now, when you look at this whole thing, you look at our ministries, department, and agencies. Do they actually operate this way? And how do we get them to actually embrace the e-governance thing?
Truthfully, they some of them are already welcoming this, and that's why at the e-government training center we emphasize on this, and we try to use practical examples. But you see, some of them are already work, like I think immigration, VIO, road safety. Though I know there's need for improvement. Road safety doesn't have to chase anybody if you break the law.
So where do we need to improve?
So in the bringing e-government, integrating this actually. So you've done e-government as an it's isolated currently in your own agency, trying to solve your own problem. But if you don't integrate, then you miss it. Because we are all supposed to be working to one vision, the vision of the president. And he has given us 8-point agenda. So you find a way that you can solve problems in this 8-point agenda, bring value, and then you integrate. Because, so that's why it falls on a central database, that we need the central database. You know, either it's from NIM, either it's from, I don't know, either it's from a unique identifier. But in this case, in terms of, you know, poverty elevation, will probably be, the source of truth will probably be the NSR, you know, and then the system works with the existing details or existing information, data in the NSR, and eventually, you know, validates it on its own.
That's do you see this bridging the digital divide and somehow providing inclusivity in accessing government services?
No. Say that again, please.
I mean, do you see e-governance in bridging the digital divide and also providing some sort of inclusiveness in accessing government services?
Of course. Of course, that's the transparency and accountability we're talking. And you know, the digital divide, it's real, because, and that's why you do what is called a capacity building. You build capacity in form of like change management, so that people can accept and say that, oh, this bringing in technology to your working space doesn't mean you lose your job. No, rather it will be more efficient. Your job will be more efficient, more effective to citizens. And before you know, you finished in a timely manner. What I'm saying is, with such system, civil servants, public servants will be taking shift. You see a civil servant coming to the office at 7 a.m. and is ready to leave for 12.
Okay, let me ask you this last question. Where do you see artificial intelligence in this whole thing?
It's part of it.
It's a great disruption.
It is,
and how do you see it playing out in this scenario?
It's part of it. AI, artificial intelligence, IoT, Internet of Things, big data, all of this thing, cloud computing, all of this, you need to work with the trends to be able to create such systems. So yes, there's no need for the scare of losing jobs. When the banking sector was purely manual initially, most people, yes, did lose their job, but check it now, the statistics, you have more people in the banking sector. Because and then obviously you can now have banking hours. You can now work after banking official hours and still address issues because of electronic systems, you know. Okay. So e-government is the key.
Okay. Malcom Oseahon.
Yes.
It's a pleasure doing business with you.
Thank you very much.